has a character that they gravitate towards in hero-based games. Whether that be the super tanky characters like Oath or the funny silly little guys like Felix, there's a choice for everyone, especially in SUPERVIVE. But what does your main say about you? And no, I don't mean in any competitive sense. Today is going to be more of a fun one, so let's get right into it, starting with the fighter's Bishop. If you were a Bishop main, you were probably a little weird growing up. You were the kind of kid that played games like Mega Man and Metroid instead of Mario and Sonic. I mean, you were effectively playing Samus or Mega Man on Bishop, shooting rockets and punching the ever-loving faces off of your enemies. That being said, if you weren't that weird kid growing up that we just talked about, you probably just love a good old-fashioned challenge on Bishop or just have a finer taste for the game, considering she is a pretty hard character to pop off with, in my opinion. And if that is why you play Bishop, honestly, you have my respect. I can't say the same for a good bit of the cast. Next up, we have Brall mains. You probably picked him because you saw his sword and thought, fuck yeah! And I don't blame you. Looks like this dude takes a lot of skill to get value with out of such a great weapon. You probably have a face of steel now though, after slamming your face into your keyboard every game to wreck everyone. So while you might get the loudest hate from everyone in the SUPERVIVE community, who's the real winner here? Celeste mains, you are the horniest people I have ever been forced to talk to in my entire life. Celeste cannot get it. She is a fictional character in a game that isn't even out yet. Holy shit! I don't even want to know what goes on when you guys press your alt button in the middle of the enemy team. Get your hand out of your pants and back onto your keyboard in-game. Elluna players are a difficult nut to crack because you either play Elluna because you actually like her kit, or you are here because you were forced to by your e-date, but who am I to judge? If you actually like playing this character though, I seriously have to question your concept of fun, because Zeph literally exists and does infinitely more in the fun and value department. Coming up next, we have Felix. If you play this guy, you are either a furry, a complete lunatic that is not mentally stable, or both, which to be honest, no problem with any of that, so long as you aren't committing arson in public, which I feel some of you might be. Felix players be the type of players that go in a Discord call with a microwave as a mic and start yapping about some crazy shit like the political climate in Hawaii or some other weird shit. I don't know. You lot are crazy. But to be honest, you are funny as fuck and make most of the community laugh, so don't stop being yourself. If you play Ghost, you are probably pretty edgy and have said some pretty regrettable things in your past. Think Kodak Black is the best rapper of our generation, and we're roped into playing SUPERVIVE by your league friends when all you want to do is go back to screaming at morons in Siege, CSGO, or Valorant. At least you get the job done by dominating with insane damage lobbies. Well, that is when you aren't blaming your teammates on a loss. Most Ghost mains I know though stay quiet, shoot, kill, win, and repeat. I have yet to meet a brain-rotted Ghost, but maybe that will change with time. Joule players aren't all that different from Ghost players, to be honest, although they are a lot more outspoken, probably love anime, and might be a little coked up when they play too. Okay, maybe they are a lot different than Ghost mains. If I had to think of the type of player that would abuse Adderall on the daily and sweat their way to the top of the SUPERVIVE ladder, it would probably be the Joule player. I swear to God, they gotta be the sweatiest of motherfuckers alive to do what they do on the character. But when they do it, you just know you got absolutely shit on. Just before we meet in person, just take a shower. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Kingpin players are just weird. I'ma be so real. Like, what is your obsession with just grabbing people? Like, look at that gripper. Who looks at that and says, fuck yeah? I mean, I understand the Brall sword, but that arm? All right. Kingpin is also probably going down as one of the most hated characters in the game too, if he turns out to be anything like OG Roadhog from 2016 Overwatch. Getting hooked through walls is just not fun for most people. And you know what? I'll cut it short. You can take a shower with the Joule players too. Yeah, I said it. To all the myth players out there, I'm not gonna lie, you're chill as fuck. I've never met a myth main that isn't an absolute homie. They are all cool. You might be baked every time we play, but at least you aren't complaining about the balance of the game or at your team that's dying every fight. Not only do you have to aim, you also have to have decent cooldown management as well, so I also respect these players a lot. So honestly, myth mains might be the most W players in the game. Hot take. Now, if you play Oath, you are an absolute giga chad. I'm talking 200 pounds of pure muscle. You probably bench 225, squat the weight of 5 boulders, and have biceps bigger than my forehead. Yeah, that's pretty big. you probably have the largest confidence out of anyone in the lobby by locking in this dude too. Not only are you extremely attractive, you are also incredibly smart to be able to keep your team safe while also dominating the enemy with your hammer and shield. If I ever meet you guys in person and you tell me you're an Oath player, I'm dapping you up. Case closed. Up next, if you play Shrike, you are the type of player that thinks they are the GOAT and hits every single shot. To half of you, you seriously are the GOATs and make the character look absolutely filthy. To the other half, I think it's time to hang it up, buddy. Whether you are the GOAT or not though, seriously shout out to Shrike players. Almost every other character in the game has an easier time existing and doing shit than you, at least currently. So I gotta respect the hustle. At least you aren't blaming your team and are pretty tame, all things considered, just not quite as chill as the Myth mains. I mean, that's pretty hard to beat. Shiv mains are the absolute opposite of Myth mains though. They are the embodiment of ego, and they make sure that you know that they think they are the GOATs. To be honest, this is just how the character works. You either hit all your shots or you suck. And if you play Shiv as your main, you don't have a problem hitting them either. As much as I want to hate on Shiv mains, I gotta say you guys are pretty fucking good. And I don't mind getting flamed if you're just gonna stop the whole lobby for me. Now let's discuss Void. Void players have my utmost respect. I swear whenever they go to make a play, I hear the Death Note music as they explain the crazy combo they're about to pull off in their head. And whenever they finally hit a clip, my God, do those clips hit. Void is honestly one of the coolest characters to be good at. And people that play Void are incredibly smart, humble, and are an asset to any team. I commend you. Zeph players are like Lucio players in Overwatch. Super high energy and an alarming level of terminal brain rot. Your comms will be filled with the lore of Turkish Quandale Dingle, double chunk chocolate cookies, and most importantly, the Great War of the Gnomes and Knights. They're also a rare species that is not found throughout the Skylands due to the sheer amount of players that gave into the darkness and played Elluna instead. Even though the brain rot will get terrifying, Zeph players will also pull off some of the nastiest movement techs in the game too. So if you can tolerate them, Zeph mains will be an asset to your team. No video is complete though without the 2 extra characters added to the game, starting with Gunner. If you are a Gunner player, you probably liked Assault, but the firepower just wasn't quite enough for you. And what's better than a gun? An even bigger gun. Honestly, Gunner players are the embodiment of dad strength. And while the character hasn't been out for too long, I feel like the Gunner character might just be the character that dads gravitate towards the most. The dude is just a big boy with a big gun, and I feel like dads just love that shit. That leaves us with Stalker players. Stalker players be the type of dude that thinks bugs are cool. Like, I'm talking Weevil from Yu-Gi-Oh levels of bugs are cool. You Stalker players genuinely freak me the fuck out, and I can't put my finger quite on why. Maybe it's because I got so fed up with getting double E'd a few patches ago, but regardless, I think you guys need to reconnect with your insect friends and go touch some grass, no cap. Well, that finishes out today's video discussing what your main says about you. I can't wait to read the comments on this one because I'm pretty sure I just started a war with half of the player base with the heinous things I said about all of your characters. If you are legitimately struggling to find your main and what you're going to excel at, I do have a video about that concept that should be able to help you on screen. Thank you all so much for watching, but until next time, I've got to peace out and Paz out. I'll see you in the next one.